Okay, so first comes 1, then comes 2. Next.
2.
Next.
3.
Everyone. Next.
3.
Still not everyone. You should be stopping what you're doing and participating, please and thank you. What comes after 3?
5.
Next.
7.
Next.
8.
Next.
8.
Next.
9.
Next.
10.
Next.
12.
Next.
14.
Next.
15.
Okay, now that we have all of our numbers, find the numbers, the 5 numbers that you need with your partner, please. Stop there. Go. Here we go. Minimum. What is it, everyone? 1. It's that smallest number. What's the maximum? This up a little. Good. 15. It's the biggest number. Hey, what's the median? Ooh, 7.5, which means that there were how many numbers in the middle?
2.
2. So when I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I have that 7 and 8 are in the middle. Therefore, my median is 7.5. Then I need to draw a line down the middle where my median is. By drawing a line, it signifies that I have a lower set and I have an upper set of numbers. The smaller set, the larger set. Therefore, I can find the Q1 and the Q2, which also should be a Q3. Now I need the median of the lower set of numbers. So what number is in the middle on the lower set? 3. This number right here. So 3 is your Q1. What's my Q2? 10. I want everyone to find the IQR for me. What's my interquartile range? What is it, everyone? 7. How did you get 7? We did 10 minus 3, Q2 minus Q1. 10 minus 3 is 7. All right, you and your partner can now draw your box and whisker plot. And we'll check it in a second. All right, guys, this is what you should get for your answer. Now, obviously, when I show you guys mine, yours might look a tad different depending upon how spaced out your numbers are, correct? But it should look similar to mine. Is that understood? It's all based on how you spread out your numbers. Any questions? Is it getting easier to do this?
Yeah.
Practice, 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 right, guys? Okay, let's go to the next page in our notebook. I want us to actually go to the purple page. We'll come back to the blue page. On the purple page, instead of you drawing box and whisker plots, it gives you one. And you have to answer questions about it. Okay, so in this particular question, it's talking about the age of U.S. vice presidents when they took office. So how old each vice president was when they became in office. Okay, so question number 1. It says describe the distribution of data. Distribution means how far spread apart is each number. How spread apart is this data, okay? What can you say about the ages of U.S. vice presidents? So talk to your partner about what you think that means. Go.
What says the spectrum on it? Like, are they on the old? Are they on the second or the third quintile? Because like the median is shifting to the what angle? Is it shifting to the older side of the spectrum or the younger side? No, because
Okay. Someone tell me something they said. What would you say? Eva.
we said that they might be talking about like how is the box plot shifting? Like, is it shifting to like the older side, or is it shifting to like the younger side?
Love it. Good. Cooper. Good. Isabella. Good. I love how you use the word range because that brings in our mean, median, mode, and range with it. So, perfect. Okay? All of those are beautiful answers. I'm going to give you a really specific one because I want you to know what it means, okay? So, we can say everything that you guys said. I'm going to give you one really specific one. When we look at a box and whisker plot, it's broken into 4 quartiles. Okay? This whisker 1 is your first quartile. The first box is your second quartile. The second box is your third quartile, and this fourth box is your fourth quartile. Do you guys see the last line, the last whisker is the fourth quartile. Do you guys see how it has 4 different increments?
Yeah.
All of these are exactly the same, even though it doesn't look like that because it's a spread of numbers. But it all has 25% of the data. So that whisker is 25% of your data. This box is 25% of your data. This box is 25% of your data. This last whisker is 25% of your data. Because there are 4 quartiles, this data is 100%. And when you take 100 and divide it by 4, you get 25%. So every quartile is 25%, and we know that because we're breaking it up by the median, by the middle number. When you break something up by the middle number, when I break it up right here by this middle number, that means there's a lower 50% of your data and an upper 50% of your data. Does that make sense, guys? So how much does this box take up? 50%. If I added the first whisker and the box together, how much of my data is that? What about the box and the last percent of my data? It's always going to be true. Each little part is always 25% of your data because of the way that it's broken up. Because we break it up by medians, and the lower median and the upper median, it's always 25% of your data. So in this particular case, one thing we can say is that half of the ages, so half of the vice president's ages are between and I'm going to roughly just guess a number right here because I want the middle 50%, so half the ages. I'm going to say between 48 and 60. So when they're asking you to describe any data, use these percentages. The middle half of your data, that 50%, that middle 50% is between the ages of 48 and 60. So use those percentages. So if I did that with number 2, what percent of U.S. vice presidents were at least 60 years old when they took office? So if we find 60 years old, everyone put your pen or pencil on the 60-year-old mark. Did everyone put their finger right here? and I want to know were at least 60, does that mean they were younger than 60 or older than 60?
Older.
So what percent of people were over 60?
25%.
So your answer is 25%. Because it is always 25%. It doesn't matter what the numbers were, it's always 25%. And then you can say, because a whisker is 25% of the data. Does that make sense, guys? Because I know that's a weird concept to think about. Okay, let me show it to you in terms of numbers. If I go back to this problem right here, okay, we had our median, correct, guys? And we had our lower set and our upper set, right? Then this was our first quartile, and this was our third quartile, right? How many numbers do I have before that first quartile? How many numbers do I have after that first quartile? How many numbers do I have between the median and the third quartile? And how many numbers do I have after it? Do you see how it's the same amount of numbers each time? It doesn't matter what the numbers are, they're always going to be the same amount. That's why it's 25%, 25%, 25%, 25%. Does that make sense? Because I know that's weird. Okay, if we look at number 3, what percent of U.S. vice presidents were between the ages of 49 and 60 when they took office? Whisper to your partner and tell me why. What'd you tell me?
50%.
50%. Why?
Because the box starts at 190.
Good.
And ends at 60.
The box is 50% of the data. Okay, let's do number 4. Can you determine from a box plot whether there are any U.S. vice presidents that took the office at exactly 55 years of age? So can you tell from this box plot if there was any vice president that took office at 55 years? Whisper to your partner yes or no and explain why. Go.
No, because we can't tell what the data is. So there's no.
What'd you guys tell me?
No, we can't tell.
No, good. Why not?
Because we can't tell the data. It's not plotted.
It doesn't show. Good. There is no exact. If they were to given you the list of numbers, then could you have told me? Yes, but because they don't give you the numbers, you can't determine that. As long as you give me a reason, you would have been fine. All right, do 5 and 6 with your partner, and then we will go over those answers in just a second. Number 5, describe the distribution of data. What can you say about the number of goals made by the number of the field hockey team? What'd you say, Connor? Okay, 50% of the team had between 0 and 3 goals. Excellent. What else did anyone else say? Emery. There is an outlier. What did you say the outlier was? 10. Good. Sydney.
75% of the data is lower and 25% is higher.
Very good. Love it. 75% of the data is low. 25% of it is high. Those are all excellent answers. I could have also said something like, most made 0 to 4 goals because it equals 75% of the data. Literally, guys, anything you could have said would have been perfectly fine as long as it describes the data. Understood? So there's not really one right answer there. What about number 6? What percent of the team scored between 1 and 3 goals this season? Peyton, what'd you say?
25%.
Why?
Because the part that the box is in is only 25%.
Good. It is part of the box that equals 25%. Nicely done. Is that making any sense, guys?
Yeah.
Questions? Okay, let's go to the blue page now. And I want you to do number 1 with your partner. Remember, write it in order. Find the minimum, the maximum, the median, the first quartile, the third quartile, the IQR, and graph it for me, guys. All right, guys, here we go. 25. What did you girls tell me was the minimum?
15.
15. Good. 5. What did you girls tell me was the maximum? 26. 12. What did you... Okay, just making sure you were in the room. What is the median? What'd you say? 20. 18. What did you tell me was the first quartile? 17. And 16. What did you tell me was the third quartile?
22.5.
Not 22.5. You're really close. 6? 23. Oh, pen's going out. So make sure you fix that, okay, boys? 20. What did you tell me is the IQR?
6.
IQR is, what is it? 23 minus 17, so it is 6. Questions on this, you guys? Okay, then if you drew your box and whisker plot, you should have put a dot above 15, a dot above 26, a dot above 17, a dot above 23, and a dot above 20. And then you would have drawn your 3 lines going up and down using a straight edge. Remember, I don't care what it is. And then connect your whiskers. So it should look like that. Yes? Question, Eva?
Was it just around?
No.
There was no round.
So if you put your numbers in order from least to greatest, we should have 15, 17, 19,
20,
20,
22,
22,
23,
23,
26.
and 26.
20.
So when we find the median is 20, you box in the median. So then you have 3 numbers below and 3 numbers above. You don't count the median as part of your lower and your upper quartiles. So then the middle number of the lower set is 17 and the middle number of the upper set is 23.
Okay.
Does that make sense, boys?
That's what we did wrong.
Okay, good question. Let's do number 2. Do it with your partner, please. Go.
Now we know what not.
Here we go. Number 3. What's the minimum? Minimum 51. 23. What's the maximum? 68. 21. What's the median? 61. 17. What's the quartile 1? Sorry, say that again. 54. 15. What's quartile 3?
66.
66 and 24. What is the IQR? You take 66.
12.
It's not 14, it should be 12. We take 66 minus 54, we get 12. Then, guys, we should be graphing it, so you put a dot over 51, a dot over 68, a dot over 54, a dot over 66, and a dot over 61. Draw your lines. No one should be moving right now. I didn't give permission to pack up yet. And then that is what it should look like. Okay, those two are very similar because they both had 7 numbers in them. So any questions on what to do when they are an odd set of numbers? Okay, we will continue practicing this tomorrow. Your homework is page 10. Will everyone go look at it, please, and thank you?